My name is Stephan. I participated in track and field and cross country from the years 1993 to 1996. So I think my fondest memories of my time at Olathe South center both around faculty and friends. As I look back at the faculty experience, the academic experience here at Olathe South, what I recall more is not what we learned, but how we learned. I think that every faculty member had a deeply vested interest in teaching us how to learn, not just being ready for the next test. And so as I look back on that, I'm really fond that they had such a vested interest in us as individuals as opposed to just what to do to graduate from the next class. From a friendship perspective, certainly made a lot of friends that I was actually surprised that a lot of those friendships lasted over the years and mileage that's come between us after graduation. 2 years ago we had our 20th class reunion, and it seemed like our conversations picked right up where they left off. It felt almost as if we were back in the Olathe South Commons talking between classes again. So that was neat to see as well, that the breadth and depth of the friendships that we developed lasted despite all of us, having moved on and done other things with our life since Olathe South. It's difficult to pin down a favorite time or moment from my experience at Olathe South competing, but if I had to look back on one, I think I would state that the first time I ever ran track as a freshman, it was at the Shawnee Mission North Relays, and at the time, the 9th grade was actually still a part of the junior high. So unlike now where it's a middle school to high school, we had a junior high where as a 9th grader I was still competing for Frontier Trail Junior High until the conclusion of that season. I was certainly honored and grateful that Coach Quinn and Coach Meyer offered to pull me up and run for the high school at the conclusion of that season. And I'll never forget the first time I pulled on the blue and gold jersey. It must have been something about the high school competition. I was able to take about 6 seconds off of my best mile time, even though I had just ran that 1 week prior for the junior high. So certainly have fond memories of that very first race. Well, first I'd like to acknowledge the gratitude I have for being elected into the Hall of Fame. I know there are a lot of worthy athletes and coaches over the years, and certainly I'm humbled by this honor to have been elected into the inaugural class of Hall of Fame athletes. I think when I look back on what helped me achieve that, it has to do both with individual and kind of group dynamics. I think perhaps as an individual, I certainly had a lot of drive and determination that I think helped me through my track and field career, but any individual accolade is never achieved without significant help from the outside, and I certainly want to acknowledge the coaching staff, both Coach Quinn and Coach Meyer, who it's no coincidence have 2 athletes in this first inaugural class of Hall of Fame athletes. Also family. My father spent many Sundays on a bike riding with me when I was doing my long runs and training hours on end, and also memories of my grandpa coming to every meet he could, and anytime I had the even thought to slow down, he was yelling at the top of his lungs for me to keep going. So very much want to acknowledge the collective effort and gratitude to everybody that helped me achieve that. Well, I guess what I'd like to be remembered for as an athlete at Olathe South is having competed with dignity and sportsmanship. Despite individual accolades, I always strive to try to carry myself to represent the school well, and with win or defeat. Hopefully still handling ourselves with class and dignity, despite if you had a good or a bad day. The best advice I can give young athletes is work hard. There's absolutely no substitute for the time and effort that it requires to achieve a high level of performance. I used to relish inclement weather days in the hopes that my competition would not be out there training or perhaps cutting their workout short. Those were the days when I would push extra hard in the hopes that I could get a step on the competition. I think in the end, certainly in the long run, drive and determination will always win out over talent. So working hard, there's no substitute for that. Well, I guess the last words of wisdom I'd like to leave as part of this video is enjoy the moment. You know, the days are long and the years are short. Regardless if it's your high school career, college career, it seems that it passes in a blink of an eye, and next thing you know, you're pulling off the jersey for the last time. So enjoy the ride, enjoy the moment. You know, certainly relish every experience. You know, nourish the friendships, and make as many memories as you can, because you know, each moment is special, each experience is special, and certainly the high school career is one of those moments in life that's unique and never to be repeated. So enjoy every moment.